So my introduction is going to be short and sweet because he likes to speak for himself. I have with us today Joe Kurmaskie, right? All right, I'll practice that. He's with two associated organizations, WashCo Bikes, as well as Free Bikes for Kids. And he's going to tell you all about what they're doing. Please welcome Joe.
Hey, everybody. So I want to disabuse everybody of the idea that we're associated like with the city. We're not Washington County Bikes. We are a nonprofit organization called WashCo Bicycles. We're the community bicycle center down in Hillsboro, and we are in 15 communities around Washington County. And since I took over, we kind of bled into, we should be called Clapco and Portland Co. and I don't know what else, because we've grown into the largest free and low-income bike distribution organization in the Pacific Northwest. We're on track to give away 5,000 bicycles, helmets, locks, lights this year to 40 different schools, 5 hospitals, women's shelters, veterans programs. We work with the Catholic charities. We work with Lutheran Resource Community Network that gives bikes, lets us give bikes to Afghan refugees, West African refugees, and Ukrainian refugees. And I basically get to be, as the executive director, I get to be Santa Claus of the bicycle world. And the idea is that we're giving people transportation, we're giving people hope, we're giving people their first opportunity to have that magic carpet ride of biking as a kid. And sometimes that last ride as a elderly person. We have programs in in care centers where we give people that no longer can ride a bike rides on pedicabs, and people that are blind. We have stokers and captains that ride them on tandems. So a few other programs that we do. How many of you guys have seen the community bike center down in Hillsboro? That was a one-room rec center kind of thing with a bunch of bikes piled on it 5 years ago. My personal story is that I'm a best-selling author and speaker all over the world. I wrote 8 books. One's being turned into a movie. I just couldn't sit back at 49 and take mailbox checks and speak occasionally. I needed something else we all need purpose, right? And these guys pulled me in, and they asked if I'd see what we could do with this organization. It was given away, at the time, about 5 years ago, we were giving away about 250 bikes around the holidays. We had a summer camp program that ran for 2 weeks and serviced about 30 kids. This past summer, and we did the camp all the way through COVID, we followed safety measures, and because that one activity you could do outside during COVID and still mask up and what have you. We do 12 weeks of summer camp, and this last summer, we serviced 350 kids. And about 45% of those kids went on full scholarships. So our summer camps, we run right out of here on Main, the church, the United Church of Christ, I believe it is. We run a Forest Grove camp, and the kids do all the things you would do at camp: arts, sciences, bowling, splash parks, all of it. We have journal writing, because I'm a writer, and so I built that in there, and nature prints and Kodachrome things, and blind volleyball, and all kinds of activities. So they get there by bicycle. Everywhere they go is on bicycle. And so rather than it doesn't feel like education, but it is all week. They learn we have flat tire races, we have slow races, we do all kinds of races and games to learn how to maintain, repair, and be safe on a bicycle. But it just rolls right into the week. So that's what we do here locally. One of the programs we do with summer camps. The other thing we do is I've asked a busy person. I was asked to kind of bring free bikes for kids along because they didn't have an infrastructure. They did a pop-up program with Providence, and as you guys know, sometimes if it's just volunteers only with no paid staff, it has a life cycle of about 18 months, and then it comes crashing down. So they paired with their nonprofit that was volunteer only, took me on as their director as well, and we built that thing up from getting about 500 bikes from Providence. We teamed with Ridwell. You guys heard of Ridwell maybe? They've kind of pushed them out of Washington County, but they're very big in many of the other counties. They're the real deal. They've provided us, right now, as we speak, they're bringing bikes out from people's garages, and we're on track to get about 1,500 bikes this week. And we got 3,200 bikes from them in the spring. So what do we do with all those bikes? We clean them, prep them, and refurbish them. I tell all of my volunteers, all my staff, we want somebody to get a bike as if they were a member of your family, as if you cared about their health and safety and aesthetic. We don't bring those bikes all the way back to department store or showroom quality as far as every nick and scratch, but we put new seats on them, we put clean the grips, we put chains and anything else that needs to be replaced or cleaned, and safety checks, 16-point safety checks. So, and we're not talking about, you know, we call them road crapsters and magnas that should be thrown back into the volcano. We bring some of those bikes back, but we try and give them the higher quality bikes that we get donated. And so when we're out at our donation events, they'll say, is this the test bike? And then you're going to give me some other bike. We'll say, no, that's your bike. And they realize they're getting a $500 or $600 bike that's been totally brought back to life for them. And so that's in a nutshell. We do programs out at Nike, Intel, Leica Studios. We're doing a lot of car replacement and car reduction with e-bikes. And at our community bike center down in Hillsborough, we're not only refurbishing bikes to sell, we sell about 10% of the bikes we get donated in, and that pays for all of those. That and a bunch of grants I write and relationships I have and team ups with Rotary clubs and what have you. I call it the Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Rotaries because I talk to every one of them. I'm an equal, I call it fellowship of the chain ring. We've got Kiwanians next to Rotarians fixing bikes, and sometimes I'll get the trikes out and let them race each other. That's always a lot of fun. So what we do at our bike shop is we have a refurb section, we have a repair section, so if you ever need bikes repaired of your own, we have fully certified mechanics to repair anything in there, and then we have that sales area. And you come in and buy a bike for your family members, and the bikes are 30 to 70% off. That money's directly going in to pay for my staff, to pay for all those lights and locks and helmets and bike pieces and parts that go into the bikes that we give away. So it's a very symbiotic relationship, and we work with a lot of different Rotary clubs. In fact, I was a speaker out at Seaside, if any of you guys were out there in the spring. That was a lot of fun. I do bits and pieces from my books up there. I do a real sort of David Sedaris meets Mark Twain kind of show. You're not getting that show today. You got to pay good money for that show. But
is that the Metal Cowboy?
That's the Metal Cowboy. Yes. You can tell I'm not. Bikes have not been any part of my life, you know. But I will say that that I come fully credentialed. I rode 250,000 miles around the globe. I misspent my youth on a bicycle, and it's really, it's been very, very good to me. It's paid off quite well. I've been, if you go on YouTube, I've been chased by a 12,000-pound elephant in Zimbabwe along the Limpopo River. I've been hit by the smallest car in Ireland. I've been treed by geese in New Hampshire. I've had quite a good time on a bicycle. I brought all those stories back, and that's the fun and joy of it all. Is I want to see other people get. I want to help save the planet. I want to reduce the amount of car trips we do, and I want to see people really just enjoy the joy of it. It's a piece of mental health, riding a bicycle. It's a gym. It's a trip back in time. You can't get on a bicycle and ride very long and be anything but 12 years old at that point. So it's a magic carpet in that way. And so I guess the ask here, I'm going to open it up for questions. We also do adopt a bike. You've got those in there. Those are our holiday push that you can help provide money for a package, and that's the adopt a bike program. And then the other thing I push to all the Rotary clubs is, in your community, we'd like to see money go directly to the kids in your community that you might like to sponsor. And $1,000 from a club would sponsor a dozen kids for our summer camp scholarship-wise. And what they get, one of the things I love, I just adore about summer camp, and I get to be there sometimes, but mostly it's my Cracker Jack staff. If you have kids, grandkids, or anything else that want to work this summer, we pay real wages. We pay $15, $16, $17 an hour for our summer camps. One of the things I'm proudest about is our whole staff over in Hillsborough and beyond. When I came on, they were making slave wages. I mean, mechanics making $11 and $12 an hour. It was just disgusting. And I said, well, we're going to pay everybody real money. And my board got a little frightened and said, well, you know, I said, give me a year. He said, you give me a year. It turns out that part of our budget is a drop in the bucket now because I have staff that are there for 3-4 years now, and it's made all the difference. I'm not spending time hunting new staff up. We give them full medical insurance, and that's pretty unheard of in a nonprofit organization, Bike Center. We pay them $17, $18, $20 an hour, depending on their experience and their level working. So real proud of that, but I'm also real proud that when we get into a community like yours, we actually give you guys opportunities, service opportunities. You can come out and help us refurbish bikes. You can also help provide money for those campers. You can provide money for the programs. Anybody was at the corn roast this year? Mm-hmm. This was our second year doing it. You may have seen all those bicycles out there. We gave 75 bikes and 150 helmets, locks, and lights away. No locks this year, but lights away. And when they walk up and they say, well, what's the catch? There is no catch. You need a bike for your kid. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at your financial situation. You're not going to ask for a bike if you don't need a bike for your kids. And so in the schools, they do need-based, and they figure out which kids they need. But in our events like that, we just, you need a bike, we're giving them away. And we give away a lot of adult bikes too. So the other thing I'd reach out to you guys is I'd say, as a group, I'd love for you guys to sponsor, 6, 12 kids. That's $1,000 sponsors 12 kids for camp. I'd love for you guys to consider sponsoring just directly with us the Adopt a Bike program. It's year-round. And then as far as helping out, I'd love for you guys to get involved in any way you want with us. We have Rotary Club days where you can come out and we'll set up tents at the bike shop, or we can come out here to the Pacific Grove Pacific University, not Pacific Grove. You guys want to go to Pacific Grove? That's a little bit of a trek. I bet there's a competing Rotary Club there. We might get step on some others. I'd like to open up for questions, and then I have an idea for campus here that we're going to do that we've been doing on a number of other campuses as well. I'd love for you guys to come out and help in any way you can. And there's other needs we have. If you have bike parts, if you have bike stands, if any of you guys are associated with a box truck company, we need a second box truck. You'll see ours is parked out on the far lot with our logo on it. And we move a lot of metal. We move a lot of bikes around. Right now, it's the sorcerer's apprentice for me. I need you guys. I need some help. We need tons of volunteers because I had no idea that between Providence, the public, and Ridwell that it would be so wildly successful in our collecting of bikes. I have a full situation out at Nike. We have the old CBC building. It's got 16 rooms, and each room is full of bikes, branded and department store bikes. They go on and just a sea of them. I have about 1,800 bikes out there, about 1,500 bikes in Westwood. I have hundreds at our bike shop, and I have 2 barns and the M&M Mercado. So my son, he was an intern for me, and my partner's son, and we would drive around, and he'd say, "Dad, you're like the bike mafia, man. You got all these safe houses everywhere." I'd pull up, and there'd be like a real quick story. we had our summer camp out there, and one of the kids was constantly banging his wheel. This is the week I ran, banging his wheel off the curbs and banging his wheel. And I said, that's going to break that wheel. And sure enough, midday on the second day, he rolls up after banging his wheel off a curb and says, is this supposed to look like this? He had popped the the quick release completely off, and it was gone somewhere, and the wheel was just hanging on with it. There was nothing. We were going to be in trouble. I stopped the whole crew, and I said, if I don't find a screw, I'm screwed. We are in the middle, we're out on Main and 50th, getting ready to go to the splash park there. And here comes this truck, because we do programs. We give about 500 bikes away to the Mercado in Heme down there at the M&M Marketplace, and we do a repair center down there every Saturday, third Saturday of the month. Here comes this truck comes by. Lots of tools, 2 Hispanic gentlemen. They go, you need help? I said, yes. They pull over. And I just thought they were good Samaritans. They pull over, they pop up, we got guys up top. They were all talking in Spanish. We're getting the right bolt. We're figuring it out. Put it all together. And then I said, hey, mucho gusto. Thank you so much. Not everybody would pull over. He goes, you guys gave my sister's cousin 6 bikes this Christmas. We will stop for you anytime, any day. And for me, that's where it comes full circle. That, you put it out in the community, you don't know where it's going to come back, but it comes back like that. And I got to tell you, it made me look like the best executive director. I rolled that bike over to all my staff, and it was done. It was fixed. I'm like, okay, we're back on the road. And they're like, what the? You really are the bike whisperer. We had pulled around the corner, pulled back. One more quick story about the impact we have. We brought 135 bikes out to Self-Enhancement Inc. down in Portland. We had a big day in their gymnasium. Bikes surrounding the entire area. And we can do that out here at Pacific University. We can do these kind of programs. Rotary can sponsor. We'll come out and we'll do a day where we give bikes away, refurbish them, what have you. But we're all there with the refurbished bikes. And Daniel, and I have this video of Daniel. Daniel's mom walks in. They're there 5 minutes before it's going to start. They're the first family in. Daniel comes up and he's excited, and the mom's excited, but she's a little trepidatious. And she says to me as I'm fitting him on the bike, and we make sure that the kids' feet are just a little bit above and where they're sitting on the seat so the bike fits them properly. Because kids, it's hard to ride a bike that doesn't fit properly. If you're riding your little sister's bike, a little, your circus bike. So he comes over and his mom says, I'm not sure, Daniel's 9 now and he's just never learned how to ride a bike. The bikes just never seem to work for him. Well, of course, Daniel's been riding bikes that don't fit him. And we put Daniel on this bike, and as I'm talking to her, and she's got her video camera out, she goes, I'm just not sure. Daniel rides off. Doesn't even have a helmet on yet. He rides off, and she's like, Daniel! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh, and the voice, the pride, the motherly love and pride, and just, it was to die for. I mean, that's what we're in this for. And he's riding around, and I say to her, all right, go ahead and stop him. I need to put a helmet on him. That's OSHA standard. And I put that helmet on him, and then he stayed. He was there for the next hour and a half riding around the gym, and all kids got their bikes and left, and we fitted them all. I'd see Daniel, and that's what it's all about. Unfortunately, I can't show that video in public too often because he's not wearing his damn helmet. Except now I've got a partnership with Leica Studios, and the other day I showed that video, and I said, hey, you guys are big on CGI. Can you put a helmet on? They were like, yeah, we can send us the video. We put a helmet right. What do you want the helmet to look like? They said we can make claymation monsters on top of the helmet. So that's what we do. And the one thought I had is teaming up with here on campus. We were talking about working with a sustainability person. We have programs going into many of the high schools: Benson High School, Tigard High School, Glencoe. And we do it on college campuses like PCC. We'd set up what I like to call bike auto shop. You remember how we had an auto shop in schools growing up? Well, this would be a bike version of that. And we'd bring some of those bikes that need work and the college students would work with a mentor to learn how to clean, prep, and repair those bikes. And then they could also do bike repairs for students here. And WashCo would co-sponsor that, maybe co-sponsor that with different clubs, Rotaries, and what have you, and the university. And it would be phenomenal because they'd get to see, they could put their little, you know, university little badge on or sticker on the bike, and they'll see that bike when we film it going off to, you know, refugees or kids or what have you. And so it's one of those things where you have direct impact, and you get to really, a lot of times you give your money and your time, and you don't know whether it just goes into a void or a well. You're hollering down there, anybody there? This program really, it's somewhat of immediate gratification. So I've talked your ear off. Any questions?
I have one.
Yes.
So go back to what you're offering the youth as far as potential internship is working in the repair department. Is there an option?
Yes, there is. We have internship money that goes through the Chamber of Commerce in Hillsborough, and all you have to do is be a Washington County student of any age up to 25, even college students. And we have them wrenching, we have them doing office admin, inventorying. They come out and table with us. They work in our summer camps. They have all those opportunities. And some of them, you do not have to be mechanically inclined. You don't have to be a mechanic to come work in and learn mechanics. But you also don't have to be just interested in bikes. You can be interested in just a good old time learning how to be involved in a social service organization.
Follow-up question then, so would that potentially lead to be able to be certified? Because you mentioned you had certified bike
yes.
mechanics.
What has happened with us is some of our mechanics go on to be, Thomas and Henry work for us now. Those are two of our intern success stories. They came on in high school, and then Raul as well. And so once it looks like they're going to be someone we would like to continue helping. It's up to them too. You know, I'm not going to keep anybody. I don't want to steer them down the path of this. If they want to go to college, it's great. This is a great opportunity. But we have kids that are now University Bike Institute certified. We send them and pay for their tuition to go down to Ashland. We used to have one here in Portland, but now it's down in Ashland, and they get certified. Not only that, they get certified. We just had the Van Moof and Rad teach 4-hour courses in e-bike maintenance and repair. So now all my guys are, you know, they get certified for each type of e-bike, but they also have a lot of e-bike experience in general now because there's only so many ways to make an e-bike. So I hope that answered your question a little.
Well done. Appreciate it.
Question.
Yes.
So I walk by the storefront all the time. What do you guys actually do at the store?
Okay, at the store, you're talking about the store with all the colored, and the reason those are colored wheels is because we got broken into. Someone threw a brick during the fires a couple years back and stole a $5,000 Nike e-bike out of the thing, and that brick is now up on the wall or up on the mantle of the shop, and it has the number 35 on it because we made lemonade. I went on all the news stations and said, who robs from a charity during COVID and during fires? And people stepped up. Nike stepped up with $10,000 of e-bikes. The community stepped up with another $25,000 in donations. And so we put all that money. So that brick is called my $35,000 brick. And my board says, who's going to break in next month? But what we do in there, we have 3 different sections of the shop. The part that's the turquoise building is where we do all the repairs and refurb work. So you'll walk in there and that's where you'll see all the bays and all the staff working on bicycles. The other side of the building is all of our bargain. You come in and get parts for yourself for bikes, and then that's where we have all of our retail. It used to be that we all are retail and bikes all repair all jammed in one little room, and it was like you couldn't even get to anything. Now we're an actual real boy, and we've got a real working shop there. And so you can come in that side and look at all the bikes. And what I tell people now, we have a chart to have you leave your name and phone number, because with almost 5,000 bikes in all these different warehouses, we can't display them all. And so we're refurbishing them at such a rate all over the counties that if you ask me, I'd like a 48 centimeter Bridgestone MB5. And I say that because that's what I pulled today from one of our warehouses. My staff will say, put your name down, and almost like Amazon Prime, we'll see if we can pull it and bring it back in a day or 2 or 3. And sure enough, we got it somewhere. Someone wanted a recumbent tricycle. I got a text from one of my staff at Nike, I found it! And so it's coming over. And so what we do is on demand, and we sell those bikes, and then that pays for all of the other parts to give those bikes away. So it's a real symbiotic relationship, and it only gets lubricated and keeps rolling with the help of social service organizations like yourself. And you all know Jim Boyle. He's really deeply involved with us, and they're you know, he's pushing Rotaries to have me talk to you guys, because you know, it's a heck of a good program, and you guys have a heck of a good program, so let's make it happen. Did that answer any of your questions?
Yeah.
You can bring a bike, you can bring your own bike in there to be repaired. My certified mechanics will take care of it. You can come in there and say, I got a problem that I have at home, I brought the wheel in, can you tell me what tube? I'm a Mr. Fix-It, I want to go home with it. We'll send you home with that. The other day, a guy came in at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm loading bikes out front with my volunteers. And Dirk, who was in the Pan Am Games, his dad ran Kessler Bike Shop and was in the Tour de France. Dirk's about 75 years old now. He's my guru. But come 9 hours of working during the day, he doesn't want to quit. I say, take it. When are you going to retire? Never! And I don't want him to, because he'll drop dead. I don't want him to retire. So he's in there, but it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and here comes this traveler, this houseless kid. He's probably 30, but the road is all over his face. But you can see when he smiles, he's still got that youth in him. And he rolls up, he's holding a crank arm for a bicycle, and the bicycle is rolling. And Dirk comes out trying to put the sign away, and Dirk's a little curt with him. Dirk's a little grumpy old man with him. He says, hey, you got a problem here that's not going to be fixed. He says, you got to leave this bike, and obviously you can't leave this bike, and so I'll give you a bolt, and it won't really fix it, but it'll get you down the road. And I'm like, okay. And I don't blame Dirk. I don't blame him at all. It's the end of the day. So I come over and I put my arm on Dirk's shoulder, and I said, Dirk, you've done enough today. Go ahead and keep closing up. I'll handle this. Then I come out to our homeless kid, and I say, hey, we're really up that. We're a community center, and sometimes the community vibe gets a little worn a little thin here at the end of the day when we're closing up. But if you'll just wait here, I eyeballed the size of his bike. I said, let me see what I can do for you. And I go in and I get a ready bike for him, and I bring it back out. And I roll it to him, and I said, if this fits, I want you to go ahead and take it away from me. And he said, are you giving me this bike? And I said, yeah, man. And he said, and he sat down on the park bench, and he's holding the handlebar, and he starts to tear up. And he says, hey, my dad sold me this bike for $100 5 years ago when he kicked me out. He said, but I'm trying to get back to California because he's sick now, and there still might be some time, you know. And I said, yeah, I know, it's all right. Here's a set of tools, we're closing up, but you go ahead and do what you need to do, transfer it over, take it back to where you need to go, but it's yours. And he looks at me really hard then, and he stands up and he says, you know, if I believed in God, I guess I'd say bless you. And I said, we don't need no middlemen, motherfucker. Consider yourself blessed. And he stands up, and I go to fist bump him. And he, in the most broken, tender, boyish expression on his face. He says, "Can I get a hug?" And he sees me looking at his disheveled situation. And I go, "Ah." I give him a hug. And I think, here's the thing. I had just been the night before to James McMurtry's concert, and there's a great lyric in there. It says, "Take my hand, Marie. Take a death grip on some part of me. Keep me from drifting far out to sea." And here's the thing. We all need our Maries. We all need our kids, our communities, our dying fathers to hold on to us. And so that's what I'm asking you guys to do. Be part of our community, and thank you very much.